This is Memoirs of a Renaissance Man. My name is David Ahern. Memoir number 70, The Bishop's Palace. The world breaks everyone, and afterward, some are strong at the broken places. Ernest Hemingway. Stepping into Bishop's Palace is akin to crossing a threshold into a bygone era, where opulent decor and intricate craftsmanship speak volumes of a time when elegance and grandeur reigned supreme. I never knew I would be so moved by a piece of architecture, and I was surprised by how familiar it felt upon my arrival. Dickens on the Strand had arrived in Galveston, and Audie and I had suited up in our best Victorian garb to participate in a weekend of revelry with an eye on the past. But first, it's important to give some backstory on what brought us to this moment. 2023 was a challenging year for Audie and me, fraught with unexpected twists and turns that left us off balance for the entire year. 2023 was one of the most challenging years of my adult life. In January, my mother passed away at the ripe old age of 85. She had a wonderful life, and the last time I spoke to her, she said to me, "I think I'm ready to go now. I've had a good life, and your dad and all of my friends are gone, and I think it's time for me to let go now." 2 days later, I mentioned to Audie that we needed to make plans to go back to Iowa to see my mom when the phone rang. This was unusual because it was 4 a.m. "Mom died," my sister said on the other end of the line. "When?" I'm not entirely sure why I asked this. It wasn't particularly relevant, but the shock of the news left me with little to say. "About an hour ago," she said. "The Alverno," this was the home where my mom was living, "just called and told me." She was gone. The finality of that seemed surreal. Even though I was preparing myself mentally, one can never truly know how they'll react when one of their parents dies. It was especially surreal because I had a show later that evening, and it wasn't the kind of thing where I could just call and say, "Hey, I'm not going to be there tonight." I would go on to do that show, and quite frankly, I couldn't tell you one thing that happened during that performance. To say the least, it was a blur. Things in 2023 would not necessarily get better from that moment forward. Audie's mom got mysteriously sick 1 month later, went to see the doctor, and was told she had 3 to 4 months to live. This was a complete shock because she had put her own father, Audie's grandfather, to rest only 2 months prior. She was 61, so this made far less sense than my mom passing on to the great beyond. No one wanted to think it was a possibility that Audie's mom could pass away, but in August of that year, her mom succumbed to a battery of ailments that ended her life much too soon. Her death was far more difficult than even my own mother's death, which somehow felt far more appropriate. The year that followed was exceptionally difficult. Audie went into a deep mourning period, and without doing so consciously, she would wear black for the entire year following her mom's death. She was in a state of shock, and for the first time in our relationship, her smile left her, and the pain of losing her mother was the greatest test of her life to date. We did everything we could to get through that first year following her mom's passing. Finally, at the 1-year anniversary of her mom's death, we knew we needed a change. We had to fight our way out of the rut we were in, and we decided we would move to Galveston to take up residence in Audie's mom's Victorian home on the island that had been vacant for almost 2 years. Our hope was to breathe some life back into the big house and breathe some life back into us. "We need to have fun again," Audie said to me as we were preparing to move. "This year at Christmas, I want to go to Dickens on the Strand to celebrate Christmas and my mom, and I want us to go in full costume." I was thrilled that Audie had something to look forward to. I was happy that she was looking for ways to bring some joy back into her life, and if that meant donning a topper and tails, then I would gladly go all out for this event. I write this missive at the end of the first week of December in 2024. Enter the Bishop's Palace and the start of Dickens on the Strand. For those, like me, that are unfamiliar with this festival, it's important to understand the people of Galveston and their attachment to the Victorian age. These people go all out to turn the Strand into a replica of 19th century London, and it was almost everyone who attended that was donning Victorian costumes that truly make you feel like you hopped in a time machine and went back to have tea or hot spiced red wine with Charles Dickens himself. Dickens on the Strand was first established in 1974 by the Galveston Historical Foundation as a way to preserve and promote the historical significance of Galveston's architecture and heritage. Inspired by the works of Charles Dickens, especially his classic tale, A Christmas Carol, this event brings together performers, vendors, and visitors, all donned in period costumes to create an authentic Victorian atmosphere. Over the years, Dickens on the Strand has grown to attract thousands of attendees from near and far, contributing greatly to Galveston's cultural and economic vitality. Audie and I met folks from California, Maine, and London who made this annual pilgrimage to Galveston to capture the heart of an era long since past. What makes Dickens on the Strand so special to the people of Galveston is its ability to foster a sense of community and tradition while celebrating the city's historical roots. Friday night came and I put on my tails, plopped on my much too big top hat, and off we went to the spectacular Bishop's Palace. Audie was dressed beautifully in a costume her mother hand-designed years ago for her own foray to Dickens on the Strand. This truly was a tribute to Big Mama and her large spirit, which still pervades the house we live in. As I stepped through the grand doors of Bishop's Palace, the air was alive with the melodious sounds of Christmas carolers, serenading the season with songs that seemed to echo from the very heart of a Dickens novel. Outside, the streets of Galveston had transformed into a vibrant tapestry of Victorian splendor, where throngs of revelers, dressed in their finest garb, paraded beneath twinkling lights and garland-draped facades. Inside, the palace embraced me with its opulent warmth, each room a shimmering delight adorned with intricate woodwork and jewel-like stained glass, reflecting the joyous spirit of the season. The laughter and chatter of fellow merrymakers filled the air, blending seamlessly with the distant harmonies of "Hark the Herald Angels Sing." It was as though time had gradually folded back on itself, allowing all of us a fleeting glimpse into a world where elegance and festivity danced hand in hand in this enchanting setting, with the ghost of Christmas present vividly alive all around us. I found myself not merely an observer, but a most willing participant in the grand pageantry of Dickens on the Strand. As I wandered through the opulent halls of Bishop's Palace amidst the jubilant echoes of Christmas carols, I felt unexpected warmth, a presence that seemed to linger in the air, a gentle and comforting feeling. I could feel Big Mama was with us. Her spirit was there, and I could feel her very essence surrounding us. In the quiet corners and the grand rooms alike, we felt her presence beside us, almost as though she was threading through the crowd with her infectious laughter, participating in the revelry she had cherished so dearly. It was as though the beauty and joy of the palace that evening had woven her spirit into the very fabric of our celebrations. Audie and I exchanged a glance, feeling her warmth and love as it enveloped us, and for the first time in our grief there was peace. It was as though her mom was smiling down from above, sharing in our laughter, delighting in the sights and sounds that she once adored, assuring us that her love was eternal and ever present. And stepping into this magical celebration, we unwittingly found ourselves healing. We found a balm for our wounded hearts. With each carol and every shared smile, we felt the heavy cloak of loss lift slowly, replaced by a profound sense of healing. We realized that by honoring her cherished memories, we had also given ourselves permission to move forward, to seek and embrace the light that tomorrow promised. Her wisdom echoed softly within us, reminding us that life, with all its twists and turns, forever offers another day, another chance to find joy and solace. And so, in this shimmering festive refuge, we found what we had unknowingly sought, a gentle passage towards healing and the enduring promise of hope. No one cherished this event quite like Big Mama did, and I could feel her spirit gently whispering, "Do you remember this place? Can you recall in another time, in another realm?" As if almost speaking to the very essence of her presence, I softly murmured, "This is home." Indeed, it felt like home. Galveston, with its vibrant heart and timeless charm, wrapped around us like a warm embrace, grounding us in the familiarity and comfort of cherished memories. Audie and I stood together in the gentle flow of Bishop's Palace, surrounded by the echoes of laughter and song that filled the festive air. And as we took in the scene, it became clear that we were not merely reminiscing, but also honoring Big Mama's spirit, allowing her vibrant love for this celebration and for Galveston. And it became truly and beautifully alive within all of us. Though our hearts still bore the tender traces of loss, we were healing, finding solace in each shared moment and every joyous experience that felt like home. Together, we pledge to keep her spirit thriving on this beloved island, in every corner where her laughter once rang, and in every moment of revelry she so dearly adored. With each passing day and every echoing carol, we were weaving the threads of her legacy into our own lives, nurturing the spirit of hope and connection she so embodied in her own life. In doing so, we discovered not only a path to healing, but also a profound bond that would forever connect us to her, to each other, and to Galveston, the cherished home of our hearts. For more, go to daviddanielbooks.com.